Human design is a system that is based on human genetic coding and 4 other ancient spiritual wisdoms, which are astrology, the Kabbalah tree of life, the Hindu chakra system, and the Chinese I Ching. And so when you combine all of these together, it creates the system of human design. And the idea is that you put in your birth information, so where you were born, the time you were born at, and the place you were born at, and it generates your birth chart. And your birth chart has lots of information about who you are, as you know now. It tells you about how your energy works, how your mind works, how your emotions work, your personality type, how you best digest food, and so much more. Like, it takes 3 hours to do a full reading.
Hello again. Here we are in Expansion Lab. Today we are again with Gina El Khoury, and we are going to talk about the second part of human design. So we did the show for human design, the part 1. Whoever hasn't heard it, please go and check out that episode. It was pretty good. And we said that we were going to do the second part after I do my reading. Gina did an amazing job doing my reading. And so here we are again to the second part. So I'm going to introduce you to Gina El Khoury. She is a certified human design reader, an amazing one. Honestly, Gina, everything you told me, I understood perfectly. It was so well explained. And I do have a few questions that I'm going to ask today again, but it's because my mind just doesn't stop, as you know already, that you did my human design reading. Gina is also a certified Akashic Record consultant and a Chopra coach, a certified Chopra coach. So welcome to the show, Gina. Thank you so much for saying yes again and for your time. And welcome to everyone that is here listening our second part.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'm excited for part 2.
I am excited too. I have all these questions, and honestly, this changed so much my perspective about human design after having the reading. But everything aligned and clicked so much. I felt like it resonates. Like your whole, like, it was like if you knew me for so long. I'm like, wait, I mean, Gina and I, we did a coaching class, but we're not we haven't even seen each other in life or in real life. So it's very crazy how, without knowing me, just by reading that, it did resonate so much. And thank you so much for that. So I want to invite everyone that is listening to go ahead and do your human design reading if you can. If you haven't, it's super interesting. You will feel kind of in touch with who you are, or understanding better a lot of things. I do have questions though, because there are questions to ask. But all right, so let's dig in.
I love it. I love that it resonated with you so much. And like you said, it's like I don't need to meet someone or even know them to read their design. And when you feel so seen because it really resonates with your life experience, that's when you can really use it for the value that it is. Like, you could really do something about it. So I'm very happy it resonated.
Thank you. And then also, so for anyone listening to the show right now, Gina is in UK and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and we were able to do the reading and everything. There are a few hours difference, but it's only possible. And that's kind of the cool thing about this podcast and doing these things online, right? That you can connect with anyone, anywhere. And so that's cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, cool. All right, so perfect. Let's dig in. Gina, let's do a brief summary for anyone. I know that people hear the first episode or no, but let's do a quick summary about what human design is.
Yeah, I'll do a brief intro. We definitely went deeper in part 1, but for everyone to just have that context, human design is a system that is based on human genetic coding and 4 other ancient spiritual wisdoms, which are astrology, the Kabbalah tree of life, the Hindu chakra system, and the Chinese I Ching. And so when you combine all of these together, it creates the system of human design. And the idea is that you put in your birth information, so where you were born, the time you were born at, and the place you were born at, and it generates your birth chart. And your birth chart has lots of information about who you are, as you know now. It tells you about how your energy works, how your mind works, how your emotions work, your personality type, how you best digest food, and so much more. Like, it takes 3 hours to do a full reading. So there's just lots of information about who you are. So it really helps you build self-awareness. But then there's also really a practical element to it where it helps you make decisions, and it helps you sort of figure out how to go about doing things in your life. So practical and self-awareness.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
All right. So with that, I'm going to give like a very quick, I'm going to read you about my table that I have here. So there are 5 types of human design, right? The manifestor, generator, projector, and reflector, correct?
Yes, 5 energy
All
types.
of them have a strategy, signature, and authority?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I think that
usually in human design, like, if you're going to take away something, it's what's your energy type, what's your strategy and your authority, which is the practical part of how do I make decisions and how do I go about life. And definitely figuring that part out is very valuable for each person if you want to work with your design. But I think it's also interesting to talk about all the other parts of the design, because the human design is so much richer than just the energy type. And often all the other kinds of podcasts you'll hear, or a lot of podcasts you'll hear on human design, I shouldn't say all, are just going to talk about the energy types. And whilst that's really interesting, there's just so many other parts of human design that are really helpful and that are just not talked about as much outside of a reading. So I think it would be cool to dig deeper into those.
Perfect. All right. So, and then I'm going to go with my questions after my reading.
Yes.
Again, we're doing a show about human design, and this is the second part after I did my reading with Gina. So, Gina, my first question is about the open centers. When you explained to me my human design, I'm actually a generator, and I have open centers. That was very interesting to me. What does that mean, and how many open centers can you have?
So there's 9 centers in general in human design, and you can have all of them open, which is very rare, or you can have, and that would make you a reflector, which is one of the energy types, or you can have any combination of them open versus closed. And so what an open center is, it means that in that part of your, or that type of energy, you are open, meaning you're literally a blank slate. So you absorb whatever's externally happening. So the environments you're in, the people you're around, they will affect you in those energy centers because you don't have your own energy in that center. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just the way that you're designed, and you're meant to be designed in this way. And then a lot of times your open centers are actually where you get your most wisdom, because you can absorb all the people around you's energies there and observe it for yourself and, use it accordingly. But the open centers, because you don't have innate access to them and you're affected by the outside, it's often where people have their most of their conditioning, because that's where you pick up external influences the most. So a lot of times the deconditioning work you have to do lies in your open centers. There could be some in your closed centers as well, but the open centers tend to have the most of it. And just maybe to give context on what closed centers are, to explain the difference, your centers can either be open or closed. And so when they're closed or defined, it means that you have your own innate energy in those centers. So you have 24/7 access to that source of energy, you generate it from within, and you don't pick it up from the outside world. So
that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, I don't remember which are my closed or my open centers. But
we can give an example if you want of your open centers and how they could be affecting people. So let's see the ones that could be interesting for you to talk about. So we can talk about the root center. So you have your root center open, which correlates to the root center in the chakra system, like the root chakra. And that is where you pick up pressure and adrenaline from the outside. It's connected to the adrenal glands. So when you have it open, it means that you literally pick up pressure and adrenaline from other people and from the environments you're in. You don't have your own buffer against that external energy. So people with that open center can sometimes be very overwhelmed by external pressures or deadlines. Things that like adrenaline junkies do is probably not for you because it's so intense. Like bungee jumping is probably just
adrenaline.
like... And so you pick up on everybody else's adrenaline. So if you are riding on other people's adrenaline all the time, you're the kind of person that's like, go, 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 like get something done so you can like get rid of that pressure and go on to the next thing. So sometimes you rush too much. Sometimes you can just like feel overwhelmed when there's a deadline. But the whole idea is that your system is not designed to be running on adrenaline 24/7. So when you can observe it in other people without absorbing it, you can basically borrow it when you need it from someone else to get something done. But then when you're done with whatever you had to get done, you can retreat and relax and go back to your neutral place, which is not a person running on adrenaline and pressure.
Which is
and
super
so
funny.
For people like you, sometimes doing things at the last minute is correct for your design, because
I do everything last minute.
And
I'm trying to though, but like most of the things I do are last minute.
Yeah, and society tells you not to.
That's funny.
But for you, for someone designed like you, it does work. It is, instead of feeling the pressure all week leading up to your deadline, you can just live as your more peaceful, calm self. And then on the day before the deadline, you just crank out all the pressure you need from the outside to get the thing done. And at least you only felt your pressure on the last day instead of carrying all this over adrenaline that your system isn't built to handle for that long ahead of time.
Super interesting. It's incredible.
So that's just one example of a center you can have open. Other people will not have this experience. It just depends if your center is open or not.
So everyone experiences it absolutely different. Everybody's chart is different, even if they're the same type of people. Like, let's say manifestors. 3 manifestors can have a totally different chart.
100%. Yeah.
And this is all based on the date. It's like an astral, like carta astral.
Like astrology.
Like astrology.
Like
so
birth, date, time, place.
Okay. Wow, this is super cool. Okay, so open centers, and there are different open centers. There are 12, I think you said?
9 different centers.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then after open centers, is there anything else about open centers? I mean, there are not 9, but we're not going to talk about all of them.
If you want to talk about emotions, we can a bit, but since we already did in part 1, maybe we can talk about it from your experience with emotions, if you want to do that.
Yes, please, let's go ahead. So one thing, everything did resonate, but it did kill me to hear that I don't have emotions. I was like, how in the world? I am the most emotional person in the world. I always thought that I have way too much emotions. And then Gina says, no, they're not yours. You absorb those emotions from somebody else. I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So Gina, yes, that was my biggest question. Well, you did explain very well and I understood, but that was the only thing it did not resonate, and it shocked me to think that I don't have emotions. What is that? What's the explanation again for that? Like, how do I, but you said that I absorb emotions, and that makes sense. So go ahead.
That's exactly what it is that you don't generate your own emotions. So to backtrack to explain where that comes from in your chart, your solar plexus, which is the emotional center, yours is open, meaning you don't generate your own emotions from within, you actually absorb them from the outside. And like we were saying in the part 1, emotions is really the spectrum of high, excited, joyful to low, down, sad, and everything in between. It's not feelings that your mind tells you to feel. So like if you get a text from someone and your mind starts to say, this is really annoying, I don't like this, whatever, then you're going to feel frustrated, angry, whatever it is. Everybody can have that experience. Everybody can mentally have these thoughts that then lead to coordinating to similar feelings. What we're talking about here is just having your own emotional wave that's happening within you 24/7, and that has nothing to do with what's going on in your outside world. So you don't have that emotional wave. It means that you're a blank canvas that can pick up on emotions from the world around you, from people around you. So if you're reading the news and the news is really sad, you're going to pick up and absorb all of the emotion behind the news, and then you feel it viscerally in your own body, physically, as if it's your own. So people like you don't usually, unless you know your human design, you don't realize that it's not your own emotions in the first place. I
get very mad. I'm very sad.
Yes, it's like you literally pick up the sadness in the news and then you feel it in your body. And because it's foreign to your body to generate its own sadness, it feels even bigger. You like amplify it inside of you. And so that works like if you're with a person that is feeling sad at like a 3 out of 10, you will pick up on that sadness subconsciously or consciously, and you will feel it as if it's your own sadness at like a 6 out of 10, even if they're just sad at a 3 out of 10. So the
Any
idea
emotions?
is like any emotion you pick up on emotions.
Okay.
Specifically.
Some mosquito or something.
I know, I can see it. I can see it flying.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I hate it.
It's okay. But the idea is that this center, when you use it correctly, can be for you to observe other people's emotions and help them understand their emotions without you then absorbing it inside of you. So your superpower is that you can literally feel how people are feeling. And you can decide in the moment. So when you're with someone that's feeling either very sad or very excited, you can really connect with them because you can literally feel what it's like to feel like them in that moment. So if someone's really sad about something, one of the ways that you really connect with people is that you can feel how sad they are inside your own body. Like you can feel like you can be in their shoes in that moment. And then once you leave the room or leave that person, you can decide to discharge that emotion that doesn't belong to you by simply deciding, like setting that intention, and then you move on with your day. The thing is that when people don't know that this is how they operate, they tend to just keep that emotion trapped within them, even after they've left the person, and then you just stay sad for, a few more hours or the rest of the day because you didn't release somebody else's sadness.
It makes you like empathetic, like it gives you a lot of empathy for people.
Exactly. Usually people with an open emotional center are the most emotionally empathetic people. Now, your open centers help you be empathetic in those areas. So like, to go back to the example of the pressure center, like you could be empathetic when you can feel like someone's really in a rush because you can sense the adrenaline energy you're picking up from them. You could be empathetic to that. So you can be empathetic in different ways. But when your emotional center is open, you're specifically empathetic to other people's emotions, basically.
That's way cool. That's amazing. Okay, so those are the open centers. Then we have the emotions, which that in my case, I think when we did the first show, you told me that you also have the same type.
Yes, I do.
Which was funny. And then also, what about the ones that make the decisions? Like for me, is the gut.
Yes.
Why? And you also have the same with the gut. And then I also thought that the guts are the ones that it is the one that actually is like your heart's like center, which is no, but that's what I thought. Like, you always have to listen to your gut. If it says yes or if it says no, and then you're like, no, for other people is different. What is that for other people?
So
what do they need to listen to?
Yes, so you're right. For me and you, we have the same energy type and the same open emotion center, which means that we're ruled by our gut. Okay. But there are other strategies and authorities that people have. So people who do have an emotional center, who do have their own emotional wave, they will be ruled by their emotions. It doesn't mean you make a decision in the spur of the moment. Some of them that also, it's going to get technical if I explain too deeply. But you can be mainly led by your emotions, by your gut, by your spleen, by your mind. And there's one more that I'm blanking on. But there's a few different options. The gut and the emotions are the most common ones.
Okay, perfect. So we do have the emotions, the open centers. These are like, I'm sorry, I have all my questions written here about, like, after my reading. So the open centers, the emotional, the personality types. There are so many different personality types, and you were talking to me about mine. So let's talk about that. How many there are, and how do you relate to it?
So there's 12 different personality types in human design, and each person has just one personality type. And we can give your example if that's helpful.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a 1-3 personality type, which basically means that you're someone that's here to learn. Your whole personality type is about learning, and there's two different ways in which you learn. One that you would tend to relate to more is that you're someone that really likes to deep dive research into things, like go on Google and YouTube rabbit holes, and like ChatGPT's probably been like a great part of your life to learn things deeper and deeper. You're the person that like just wants to know everything there is to know about the subjects that you're interested in. And then the other side of how you learn is also by experiencing things. So you have to try things out to really know if they work or not for you. So that's like the equivalent of the child that sticks their finger in the socket to understand why they're not supposed to do that. If the parent just says no, you still need to experience yourself to learn why it's a no.
I remember that one. That one resonates so much. When you said that, I was like, how does she know exactly in the stove and burn? If you tell me like it's burning, I'm going to touch that to see if it's really burning. And that's crazy. No, everybody's like that. No, everybody put the finger in the stove. So that is interesting to know that. Why is it so powerful? Why? Why is it so exact?
Yes. Similar to astrology in that when you put in your birth info, that's the energy that you're born into. Like you enter the world at that energy that hits you from the specific angle where you are location-wise, at the specific time that you're born, in the specific place. Like it's all to do with where the planets are in the universe at the specific time you're born. So it's like the energetic imprint that is the first thing you like encounter when you enter the world. And so that's your blueprint, that's your map of who you are. And then we can get more scientific than that, but exactly.
No, but it makes sense, because if you think that you put one of the things that you do is like the map of astrology for this, and it takes all like the exact time, the place, and all of it. It makes sense that is so exact. And then also, if it has the I Ching, like, what about the I Ching and the purpose? Like, I also know that there is purpose and gifts and the reading, because you gave me my gift. And that also resonates a lot. Can we talk a little bit about the gifts?
Yes. So the gifts in human design are based on the I Ching, which means that there are 64 different gifts. And everyone has a different combination of some gifts defined and some gifts undefined, similar to centers. And everyone has one most important gift. So out of the 64 gifts, everybody has one that they say it contributes about 70% of your essence. So it's a really big part of who you are. And for you, your greatest gift is gift 11, which is in the mind. And it's all about, you're basically someone that just generates ideas all the time in their mind. So you're someone that receives a lot of ideas all the time, and that has to sort of sit and sift through all these different ideas you get to understand what their purpose is. Because some are for you, some are for other people, some are just fun to entertain, but they're not more practical than that. And the idea is that you're supposed to do something about the ideas that are meaningful for you and figure out how to sort through which ones those are.
How do I know that?
Well, it's the most important gift that you have. So when you sit with paying attention to all these ideas flowing, whenever you receive ideas, give them airtime, pay attention to them, and see, okay, what is this idea for? Is it for me? Is it for someone else? Is it even valuable, or do I just not need to do anything about it? And the more you actually spend time paying attention to your ideas, the more you'll get better quality ones, the more you'll know what to do with them. And then also, the more you generally declutter your mind, the more you have space for the more of the right ideas to come to you. Because sometimes people with this gift can have a very active mind, which is kind of what you were saying earlier, because you're just simply having ideas a lot of the time. And so whenever you remove distractions in life, of information that doesn't really have value for you, then you have more space for receiving the ideas that you're meant to have, because your mind isn't busy with things that aren't valuable or important to you. And it's interesting to combine that with your personality type. Yeah, because your personality type is all about deep dive learning and experiencing. So you are going to accumulate a lot of information, which is going to feed the mind. And the idea is the more you refine what kind of information do I want to learn about, which is going to be based on what really interests you, the more you're feeding your mind what actually gives it the positive mental stimulation, the interesting mental stimulation. And you don't focus on, I don't know, learning about things that you feel like especially as a generator, you might feel like you should focus on that or have to focus on something else, as opposed to what truly interests you. And any of those shoulds would just be information overload that just clutters your mind and creates that sort of mental anxiety, overthinking all these things. But
What
your
is
gift
it?
is the ideas.
Yes, I do have the ideas, and then there was something about my heart. I think it was it will come to my mind, and then I have to express it through my heart through talking or communicating.
So your mind is connected to your throat, which isn't the case for everyone, but for you it is. So it means that you are supposed to literally talk about these ideas. So that's another way also that you would help reduce the mental overstimulation, is by sharing, literally speaking or writing or however you would communicate. Podcast is a great one.
Yes.
Communicating your ideas, so that they're not stuck in your mind. You actually did something about them. But of course, you have to pick which of the ideas you have are worth sharing and who is the right audience to share them with. So yes, your mind is connected to your throat, and you are here to speak about all these ideas you have and the perspective you have on them and your opinions. Like, you are here to share those things too.
Wow, this is super cool, Gina. Personality types, gift ideas, open center. What else are we missing here from I mean, it was gates and channels. No, that would be for the third reading. Because also the readings are like 3 hours. They're long. And then there is so much information about you, right? About the reading. We did the first one. We need to still do the second one, right? So maybe we're gonna do
Exactly.
the second one, and then we'll talk about the other part.
Yeah, because so the full reading is 3 hours, but you can break it up. Like, doing 3 hours in a row would be very long. So we did an hour and a half. I also do 1 hour readings, depending on how long you want to spend. You can be an hour. You can have 3 1 hour readings or 2 1.5 hour readings. And then, of course, if you just want to do your one reading of 1 or 1.5 hours, you still get lots of insights and lots of information. The next readings are just like going into other parts of your chart, deeper parts of your chart. So, yeah.
What are the most important parts? The must know. Like, if you're doing a reading, you do need to know obviously your type, right? So
If you remember only one thing of your reading, it's the energy type, strategy, and authority. So, in your case, energy type is generator, and remembering, how you function and trying to live by that. And in part one, we went deeper into what a generator is, because I'm a generator too. So I used that example. And then your strategy and your authority, which for you is through your gut, which we also, I know, talked about in part one, because I'm the same. And when you do that, you're basically living you're living according to your human design. That's like the practical part of it. And over time, the idea is that if you follow your strategy and your authority and live as an aligned generator, you would naturally, over the course of your life, end up living your entire chart, because your gut, in your case, is always leading you to what you're meant to do, where you're meant to be.
what about the authorities? Which is the authority?
So there's strategy and authority. And basically, strategy is about how you make things happen, how you create things. And for you, it was to, in short, wait for a sign, see how your gut responds, and then take action, as opposed to just blindly take action straight away. And then your authority, which is about making decisions, is again through your gut. And so that's like your gut saying yes or no to whatever decision you're contemplating at the moment. So one's about like how you go about doing and creating things, and the other one's about making decisions.
That's so amazing.
It's very practical,
Wow,
which is just great.
It is. This is super cool. I'm gonna say it like this. Like, I love astrology, and this is like I don't know about human design, not even one of what I know about astrology, but it's fascinating. I feel like it's super exact. It does. The only thing that it kind of shocked me was about the emotions, but I can understand what you said, and I don't know. I do have to start like I have to give more room to that to like understand it better, because I don't think I can give up that I don't have emotions. But it's still fascinating. So anything that else that we missed? I mean, I know we already did the first show, but anything else that we want to tell people before they do the reading, or why is it important? Or
I think we covered a lot, and of course, because a reading takes 3 hours, there's so much more we could talk about, but I think we covered a lot already. why I think it's really important to do a human design reading. I mean, I think to each their own, in the sense that I think the reason we have so many different systems and modalities out there, from human design to astrology to people really value meditations, there's all kinds of different things out there, is because we are different. I think the reason that human design is very valuable is because it explains in such detail who you are, and there's also the very practical element where you can do something about it. You can actually implement it in a very clear way in your day-to-day. But then at the same time, I think there's so many different wellness and spiritual systems out there and tools out there. Because we are so different, we all need different kinds of tools. Different tools and different systems will speak to different people. And if we all needed the same thing because we were all the same, there probably wouldn't be as many. You know, we would just all just meditate and that would be it. But there's also breath work, and there's Reiki, and there's Akashic Records, and there's so many different things, because we're all different. And so that is the premise of human design, is that every single person is unique. Every person functions in their own way. And when you really live aligned to how you're designed, you will find naturally, by following your design, all the things that you're meant to work with, all the things that you're meant to do. So human design, for example, will never tell you like, you're the kind of person that has to meditate and do breath work and have protein for breakfast. It will kind of let you, by using your protein for breakfast, is a big one these days.
You see how you do it.
Like for you, in your case, but in your case, for example, you use your gut, and your gut will guide you to making the decisions that are right for just you on, do you want to meditate every day or not? Do you want to eat protein at breakfast every day or not? Like, everybody's designed differently. And so I think what human design is really valuable is that it helps you feel empowered to basically live according to what's best for you, regardless of what society is saying, social media is saying, big spiritual gurus are saying, or it's really like, it doesn't mean that any of those things are wrong. It just means that not every single thing is going to apply to you. And when you know your human design, you can figure out what really resonates with you, what applies to you, what's good for you and not good for you, and live by that, as opposed to externalizing your power to people who have more Instagram followers, people who are more successful, people who are this, who are that. Like, the idea is nobody knows you better than you. And when you know your human design, even more, you have that deeper self-awareness on what works for you and what doesn't. And you can live by that, feeling more empowered to do so.
Also, like, human design is a combination of all these tendencies, all these systems that are already established in well, it depending, right? Some people do believe, some people don't. I truly believe in astrology. I believe in the chakras. I believe in the I Ching. I grew up with that. It does make sense that all of that together gives you this, and it's beautiful, and I think it's worth exploring for sure. Definitely. It's really
and I
amazing.
think for anyone who's skeptical, it's like very understandable to be skeptical about these things, because I can't come up with a bunch of scientific papers that are going to prove it to you, even though there is a lot of science behind it. But the idea is that when you get a reading, it does just resonate that this is you, and the parts that don't feel like you can see where your life experience has made you disconnect from who you really are. And so I think for people who are skeptical, it's like, if there's a curiosity, just try it, and then you have your own evidence of whether it works for you or not. But if you're skeptical and you haven't tried it or you haven't explored it, you're just going to stay skeptical. Nobody's going to convince you, but through a conversation, that it works. I feel like these things is like, you really have to experience it for yourself to know that it's true, because you know that it's true.
You
not
gotta
because
touch the
anybody else
stove.
told you.
Yes.
Exactly. You have to touch the stove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gina, how did you get involved in the human design?
So I was really into wellness and spirituality in general, and I was just interested in exploring everything. And I used to listen a lot to a specific podcast, and once Jenna Zoe, who's sort of the leader in human design right now, was on the podcast, and it was the first time I'd ever heard about it, and I thought the episode was amazing, and I wanted to learn more, and then it started a whole rabbit hole for me. But it really just happened from listening up to a podcast episode. Which is so great, because we're doing a podcast now, so maybe this can happen
we'll
for
inspire
someone
some
else.
people. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope this podcast inspire a lot of people.
Yes.
to say that's what is in my heart. But anyway, okay, well, so I think that let's finish. We've been connected for quite a good time, and I think that it was an amazing conversation. Just a reminder for people, Gina is a human design reader. She's also a certified Chopra coach, and so is an Akashic record coach, reader, consultant. That one I didn't know, but I think that will give us more platform to do more shows. So thank you, Gina. Thank you for your time. This was amazing. Thank you so much. Let's give us a even though we don't have emotions.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Gina. I really appreciate it. And I won't see you in class now because our classes are over.
Yes.
But I will keep contact with you through social. Exactly. Thank you so much. Anyway, bye, people. Ciao.